Welcome back to Today we will learn about the explosive confrontation brewing between three formidable women who find themselves entangled in a passionate battle for one man's heart, the irresistible Xander Kyriakis. The legal separation that changed everything. The legal papers have been signed. The ink has dried, and Xander Kyriakis finds himself officially separated from Sarah Horton. What should have been a clean break has instead opened the floodgates to a territorial war that promises to shake Salem to its very foundations. The separation documents, filed just last week at the Salem courthouse, represent more than just the end of a marriage. They symbolize the beginning of an all-out battle royale between three women who refuse to back down. Sarah, despite being the one who initiated the separation proceedings, discovers that letting go of Xander proves far more challenging than she anticipated. The legal formalities may have severed their marital bond, but the emotional connections run deeper than any court document could ever address. Her friends noticed the telltale signs immediately. The way she lingers outside places where she knows Xander frequents, the careful attention she pays to her appearance each morning, and most tellingly, the flash of jealousy that crosses her face whenever another woman's name is mentioned in connection with her soon-to-be ex-husband. Gwen's bold territory marking Gwen Rizek has never been one to shy away from claiming what she believes belongs to her, and Xander's newfound availability has awakened every possessive instinct in her cunning mind. Sources close to the situation reveal that Gwen has been systematically positioning herself as Xander's primary source of emotional support during this tumultuous period. She's been spotted arriving at his apartment with homemade meals, offering to help him navigate the complex legal proceedings, and most provocatively, making sure she's always impeccably dressed and perfectly positioned whenever she knows other women might be watching. Her strategy extends far beyond simple companionship. Gwen has been meticulously studying Xander's routines, preferences, and vulnerabilities, crafting herself into the perfect replacement for what Sarah used to provide. She's learned his favorite coffee order, memorized his work schedule, and even began frequenting the same gym where he works out. This calculated approach has not gone unnoticed by Salem's gossip network, with several residents commenting on how Gwen seems to materialize wherever Xander happens to be, as if by pure coincidence. The most audacious move in Gwen's territorial campaign came last Thursday evening when she deliberately chose to wear Sarah's favorite perfume, the same scent that Xander had once mentioned loving during a chance encounter at the town square. The psychological warfare implications were crystal clear to anyone who understood the intricate dynamics at play. Gabi's relentless pursuit at the bistro. Meanwhile, Gabi Hernandez has transformed the bistro into her personal hunting ground, using her position and charm to create countless opportunities for meaningful interactions with Xander. Staff members have begun whispering about how Gabi's work schedule seems to mysteriously align with Xander's dining preferences, and how she's developed an uncanny ability to appear tableside whenever he's enjoying a meal. Gabi's approach differs markedly from Gwen's calculated methodology. Where Gwen employs subtle psychological tactics, Gabi opts for direct, unapologetic pursuit. She's been observed engaging Xander in lengthy conversations about everything from business ventures to personal philosophies, always ensuring their discussions occur in full view of other patrons. Her flirtatious banter has become legendary among the bistro's regular customers, with many placing informal bets on whether her persistence will eventually pay off. The restaurant's atmosphere has become noticeably charged whenever Xander enters, with Gabi immediately shifting into what staff privately refer to as pursuit mode. She adjusts her posture, brightens her smile, and finds reasons to extend their interactions well beyond normal customer service expectations. Other female employees have started joking about how Gabi treats Xander's arrival like a personal audition for the role of his next romantic partner. The inevitable collision course. The tension between these three strong-willed women reached its breaking point last Friday afternoon, when fate orchestrated a three-way encounter that nobody could have scripted more dramatically. Sarah had stopped by the bistro to collect some documents she'd left behind during her last business meeting. Gwen had coincidentally chosen that exact moment to suggest lunch to Xander, and Gabi was, naturally, working her afternoon shift. The initial moments were filled with strained pleasantries and forced smiles, but the underlying current of competition was palpable to everyone present. Sarah's greeting to Gwen carried an unmistakable edge, while Gabi's overly enthusiastic welcome to both women barely concealed her territorial instincts. Xander, caught in the middle of this brewing storm, seemed simultaneously flattered and overwhelmed by the sudden convergence of attention. The conversation began innocuously enough, with discussions about the weather and local events, but quickly devolved into a series of subtle jabs and passive-aggressive comments. Sarah made pointed references to her shared history with Xander, Gwen countered with mentions of their recent private conversations, and Gabi interjected with reminders about her daily presence in Xander's life through his regular visits to the bistro. The explosive confrontation unfolds what started as civilized conversation rapidly escalated when Gabi made an offhand comment about how some people need to learn when to let go and move on with their lives. Sarah's response was swift and cutting, and some people need to learn the difference between professional service and personal desperation. The gloves were officially off. Gwen, never one to be excluded from a good fight, immediately inserted herself into the conflict with her characteristic blend of sophistication and venom. "How fascinating that we're discussing desperation," she remarked with a perfectly manicured smile. "Considering how some people seem to hover around their ex-husbands despite having initiated the separation themselves." The three-way argument that followed was a masterclass in feminine warfare, with each woman utilizing her unique strengths and targeting her opponent's perceived weaknesses. Sarah deployed her history with Xander as both shield and sword, reminding everyone present of their deep emotional connection, while simultaneously questioning whether newcomers could truly understand him. Gwen responded with psychological precision, pointing out how Sarah's behavior suggested she regretted her decision to leave and was now desperately trying to maintain control from a distance. Gabi, not to be outdone, launched into a passionate defense of her right to pursue happiness, arguing that Xander's separation meant he was fair game for anyone brave enough to fight for his attention. Her directness provided a stark contrast to the more subtle approaches of her competitors, and her willingness to openly acknowledge her intentions seemed to catch both Sarah and Gwen off guard. The aftermath and ongoing implications. The confrontation ended with all three women storming off in different directions, leaving Xander standing alone among the scattered remnants of what had promised to be a pleasant afternoon. Witnesses reported that the tension in the bistro remained palpable for hours afterward, with staff members discussing the incident in hushed tones and regular customers asking for details about what they'd missed. The battle lines have now been clearly drawn, and Salem's residents are bracing themselves for what promises to be an extended campaign of romantic warfare. Each woman has demonstrated her willingness to fight for Xander's affections, and none seems prepared to gracefully concede defeat. The legal separation that was supposed to simplify Xander's life has instead complicated it exponentially, transforming him from a married man into the most sought-after bachelor in Salem. Kat Green's gratitude gesture in a separate but equally intriguing development. Kat Green has been making waves of her own by finding meaningful ways to repay Chad DiMera's recent kindness toward her. Sources suggest that Kat's gratitude runs deeper than simple appreciation, hinting at the possibility of a genuine emotional connection developing between the two. Her thoughtful gestures and sincere appreciation have not gone unnoticed by Chad, who seems genuinely touched by her efforts to acknowledge his support during a difficult period in her life. This emerging dynamic adds another layer of complexity to Salem's already intricate web of relationships, proving once again that in this town, no good deed goes unnoticed and no act of kindness fails to create ripple effects throughout the community. The stage is now set for what promises to be one of the most entertaining romantic competitions Salem has witnessed in years, with 3 determined women, 1 confused man, and an entire town watching with bated breath to see who will ultimately claim victory in this battle for Xander Kiriakis' heart. Who will Xander Kiriakis choose next? And who will walk down the aisle with him? Xander's new life, new temptations. Since officially stepping away from his last romantic commitment, Xander has found himself in unfamiliar territory, no longer tethered to the stability and sometimes suffocating comfort of married life. He is free, available, and more desirable than ever. Salem's single women have noticed, and so have a few who aren't technically single, but don't let that stop them. This newfound bachelor status has transformed Xander into a walking opportunity for love, for influence, and for a taste of the excitement he always brings into a relationship. But beneath the surface charm lies a man whose heart, once given, is fiercely loyal. That is what makes this upcoming decision so pivotal. Whoever he chooses won't just be his next girlfriend. She might be his forever. Contender 1. The loyal flame from the past. First on the list is a woman from Xander's past. Someone who knew him before the polished suits, before the complicated deals, before Salem itself softened some of his rough edges. She's not chasing him for social status or financial security. She's chasing the man she remembers. Her strategy is simple. Remind him of the version of himself he used to be, the man who could be vulnerable without losing strength. Her advantage lies in nostalgia. Late-night conversations about the old days. The inside jokes no one else understands, and the quiet comfort of familiarity could be enough to reignite something powerful. But history is a double-edged sword, and Xander may wonder if going back means giving up the progress he's made in becoming a better man. Contender 2. The ambitious ally. Then there's the woman who sees Xander not just as a romantic partner, but as a strategic partner. This contender knows the value of aligning herself with someone as resourceful and occasionally ruthless as Xander Kyriakis. She isn't shy about her intentions. She envisions a future where they're not only married but also unstoppable in business and social influence. Her courtship style is deliberate. She shows up at the right moments, armed with solutions to his problems, invitations to high-profile events, and subtle reminders that together, they could be Salem's next power couple. The risk? Xander might question whether she's in love with the man or simply the opportunity he represents. Contender 3. The unpredictable spark. Finally, there's the wild card, the woman whose presence in Xander's life is anything but predictable. She isn't interested in slow burns or careful planning. Her connection with Xander is impulsive, electric, and sometimes chaotic. She challenges him, infuriates him, and excites him all at once. Unlike the others, she doesn't try to win him in traditional ways. Instead, she sweeps him into adventures, tests his patience, and forces him to confront parts of himself he'd rather ignore. Her approach is high risk, high reward. If Xander craves stability, she'll lose him. But if he's secretly longing for passion over peace, she could be the one who keeps him hooked for life. Salem's growing speculation. In a town like Salem, nothing stays private for long. The sight of Xander sharing coffee with one woman on Monday, attending a charity event with another on Wednesday, and being spotted on a late-night walk with the third by Friday has fueled a firestorm of speculation. Friendly wagers are already circulating at the Brady pub, and the local gossip mill is working overtime. The truth is, each woman offers Xander something unique: comfort, power, or excitement. The question isn't just who he's most attracted to, it's which version of himself he's ready to embrace. Is he the dependable husband, the ambitious partner, or the thrill-seeker who thrives on unpredictability? The deciding moment ahead. Those close to Xander say he's feeling the pressure. Friends warn him to take his time, but in Salem, timing is everything, and waiting too long can mean losing all three. Rumor has it that an upcoming charity gala could serve as the turning point. All three contenders will be there, each armed with her own plan to secure his attention and, hopefully, his heart. If history is any guide, the decision won't be quiet or private. It will be public, emotional, and possibly scandalous. Xander has never been one to shy away from drama, but even he knows that marriage is a choice that can't be undone with a clever escape plan. The road to I do. As Salem watches, the stakes grow higher. Whoever ends up as Mrs. Xander Kyriakis will not only win the man but also step into a life under constant scrutiny. The role requires more than love. It demands resilience, adaptability, and a willingness to fight for both the relationship and their place in a town that thrives on rivalry. So who will it be? The loyal flame, the ambitious ally, or the unpredictable spark? One thing is certain. When Xander finally says, "I do" again, it will be a decision that shakes Salem, and one that fans will be talking about for years.